One thing we are always glad to have here on Pod TV is shows that are doing a lot of activism work and all along those lines are keeping you informed about things that you need to be informed about and all in that kind of way. I know that that's part of the reason that Kim and Nick founded this network is that they wanted to make people aware of things that a lot of times they are not aware of and all along those lines, whether it's physical education or a number of other things also. So we've got a lot of folks that are doing activism work on this network, including Irene Parker, who's been definitely taking on the timeshare industry. We've got Rex Lee, no relation, who's been doing a lot of work in the field of cybersecurity and everything like that. So he's done a lot of shows in that space. But we've also got Tony King, and she is definitely keeping the fire on the folks over there in the Medicare industry and making sure that they are treating people correctly and all along those lines. And I had a question for her about that, as I just recently saw that there was a new bill, and I know that we're going to talk about gym membership because I did see your letter and everything like that. But I did see, I think it was yesterday, that there was a new bill to try to make changes to Medicare Advantage. So that just came out yesterday. So I don't know if you saw that article where there was a Democrat that was trying to make some changes and to make it even fairer, the Medicare Advantage plans. But that just came out
I'm
yesterday.
not even going to go there with you until they make it a law. They can sit there and talk all they want to talk, but until they make it a law, it's not accurate. It's not something that happens. It took them 5 years to change the prescription drug plan situation. So if they're trying to do things that change advantage plans, it's going to take that all takes time. You have to focus on what's happening today versus what's going to happen in the future. When Nancy Pelosi and John Boehner
Mhm.
changed Plan F in Medicare, it took 5 years to make that change. They did
Wow.
it in 2015, and the change came about in 2020.
Well, so the change came about around the same time we were going into the beginning of our pandemic and everything like that. Now, I did not realize until I got the letter from you and everything like that, that one of the things that you could get from, and I've seen even TV commercials, so I knew that you could get medical appointments like eye exams. As a matter of fact, I had one that was scheduled for June, but now it's been pushed back to September, and that was on me because I had some schedule conflicts and everything like that. Because it's not like you can make a quick change. You know, it used to be that you can make a change and make it like a week later or maybe even a day or two later. But now, if you make a change, it's going to be several months before you can get your next appointment. But so I knew about vision, I knew about dental, I knew about doctor's appointments and everything like that. But I do not have a gym membership. I've got a gym in my apartment complex. I probably need a gym membership, but I did not realize that that was something that was even included in Medicare until I got the letter from you. And I'm going like, wow, you mean I can get a gym membership and everything like that? But
Well,
definitely,
that's what people think when they get the Medicare Advantage and you see the ads during the fall time. Medicare doesn't cover
right.
gym memberships. Medicare doesn't cover dental services unless it's medically necessary. So whenever you see something advertised on TV and they're giving you some freebies, that's the insurance company paying for it. Medicare is not giving that away. That is not part of Medicare. So you need to be real careful when you're looking at what you've got to do for Medicare, because Medicare doesn't cover everything, but Medicare helps better medically. If you want to have your medical side in your control and not in an insurance company's control, then original Medicare with a Medicare supplement is your best way to go. Because Mark, you live in North Carolina.
Mhm.
If you got sick and you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, especially if you're on an HMO, and you want to come to Texas because you've heard that there's somebody at MD Anderson that will help you with your cancer, you'll never get it
Wow.
because they're not in your network. So you've got to be real careful. We can always change to a Medicare Advantage plan. There's no health questions. You can always change to a Medicare supplement to help pick up with original Medicare. So that was the question that someone asked me from Little Rock. because him and his wife has a Medicare supplement, but they don't have a gym membership. And now his wife's friend just joined Medicare and got on a certain plan, a Medicare supplement plan, and they included a gym membership. You pay a little extra and you get the gym membership. Okay. So it's not about getting a gym membership. It's about getting your health care taken care of. So people need to watch out when they're marketing. That's what I said last week. If you have someone that calls you and you don't give them your information over the phone. So what we're talking about today is what isn't covered by Medicare.
Right.
Medicare's only got two parts, Part A and Part B, and there's a whole section in the Medicare New Handbook on page 55 that talks about what isn't covered.
What isn't covered? Well, one of the things I was curious about, and maybe you got some thoughts around this as well, and all along those lines, is you mentioned my being in North Carolina and you're there in Texas. Both of those states are known for being victims of disasters. I mean, right now we're in the middle of a drought, even though we did have significant rain yesterday and the day before, and I think they're calling for some tomorrow and later on this evening as well. But I did not know, because I've been doing more research because of your show and everything, about this whole notion of and I know it's a topic separate from what we're talking about, but it does important, of this notion of a Medicare disaster special election period, which allows you to change your health or prescription drug plan if you missed another election window due to a federal, state, or local emergency declaration. And we are about to get in the middle of our hurricane season and everything like that. So apparently there is a way that you can still get your Medicare if you're impacted by what happened. I know last year, because usually on the 4th of July, I would have been doing the Eno, which is a big festival that we have and everything like that. We did not do that because right after the Eno last year, Chantel came. So a lot of people were impacted and are still dealing with the impacts a year later, whether that's a festival or whether that's human individuals and everything like that. So I just wonder your thoughts around this notion of you can still get your Medicare if you're in the middle of a disaster.
If you're in the middle of a disaster, if you're turning 65 and you're in the middle of a disaster and you can't enroll in Medicare at the right time, they may expend it. But if you're in the middle of a disaster, most of these rules are for Medicare Advantage plans, and they will open it up so you can enroll in the Medicare Advantage plans. So you need to go to Medicare.gov and look at that.
Right.
That situation. But people need to realize let's go back to what isn't covered by Medicare. Okay. Because people think that Medicare is going to pay for your eye exam if you're on original Medicare. Mm-hmm. If they pay your exam, they don't pay for your glasses.
Right.
They don't pay for your contacts.
Right.
And that's some of the specials things that a Medicare Advantage plan will offer you. They may give you discounts, with LensCrafter or whoever. Mm-hmm. But as far as having eye surgery, if it's medically necessary, that's what's going to be covered. Medicare doesn't pay for us to get rid of our if we've got different facial things that need to take care of. We want to get rid of all of our what's making us look older.
So Medicare is going to cover like line removals and like wart removals and things like that people may have, that folks want to have because they're vanity projects, is what you're talking about, like those vanity projects.
Medicare doesn't pay for that. If you need to cosmetic surgery because you want to pull up you're losing all you're getting to look older, and now you want to get rid of all the what's making you look older. Medicare's not going to pay for that, for the cosmetic surgery side. Or sometimes if you go to a chiropractor, that may not be medically necessary. So you got to make sure that chiropractor knows how to build Medicare. Or if you need some hearing aids, Medicare is not going to pay for your hearing aid. Now, some of the Advantage plans will pay for a hearing aid, but that's not medically necessary. All this is on page 55 and 56 of the Medicare New Handbook. What is not covered under original Medicare? A lot of people go with um, concierge services.
Mhm.
They pay the extra money so they can get directly with the doctor and spend more time. Well, Medicare doesn't pay for concierge services, but Medicare, um, that whatever is medically necessary that happens during that concierge service, then Medicare will pay for that. The
So let me
doctors will bill Medicare, but they're not going to pay for that extra money that you pay for the concierge service. It's all a game. You really
It
got
sounds
to
like, it sounds like a big time game. But so I'm just trying to get back to the chiropractor because many years ago when I was a youngster, I mean now in my 60s and everything. So this might have been when I was in my 30s, or it might have even been I think I was in my 30s. I remember my younger brother, who was 7 years younger than me, was driving the car, and I was in a accident with him, and it wasn't a major accident, but we did have to go to the chiropractor to get adjusted. That whole neck adjustment thing and all along those lines. So if I'm hearing you correctly, something like that, because it wasn't life threatening, would probably not be covered by Medicare. Because all they were doing was doing the typical chiropractic adjusting and everything like that. But it wasn't
if
a
it's
life
not
threatening.
medically necessary, Medicare's not going to pay for it.
Right.
So if you go into a chiropractor, make sure that the doctor knows how to file a claim with Medicare and it can be paid for. Now, under an Advantage plan, the chiropractor could be paid for. So you need to look at what's important to you as you go in and picking whatever primary care doctor or whatever specialist that you have that you're going to. Is that what's important? You picking what doctors you get to use and what health care you can have? Or is letting an insurance company tell you what you can or can't do important? Those are two different aspects.
In
Yeah.
that same realm, I did have another question for you because I know that as I get older, and my parents are older as well, they're very self-sufficient. They don't need assisted living right now and everything like that. But if they were to get older and to need it, let's say they got to be 90, I don't know that Dad would ever go to an assisted living place, but he did have to go to one time when he was having some health issues where he was living in one for maybe a month or something like that, or maybe a couple of months because he was having some serious heart issues. But if you have to move to an assisted living or even a nursing home or all along those lines, does Medicare cover that kind of cost, or is that something that Medicare
No, Medicare
doesn't?
doesn't pay for it. Medicare gives you 100 days in a skilled facility for something that's medically necessary. But once you need to go into assisted living
Mhm.
or you need to go into a nursing home because you need the care, you can't take care of yourself at home, or you need extra care at your house, somebody to be there, not just if home health comes out, they're going to just come in and go.
Right.
So if you need extra care, that's where long-term care, or that is where a short-term care plan comes in place. It can help you, and you have to pay extra for it. Now, a lot of people will go with an Advantage plan because they say that they will help you with care at your away, in a facility or whatever. But you've got to make sure that that facility is accepting that Advantage plan.
Yeah.
So that's why we do a consultation, because you've got to personalize your Medicare. I have a lady who I'm talking to today about 1 o'clock here in the Texas time,
Right.
and she's coming off, her husband's trying to see if he needs to quit work because she now has cancer.
Wow.
And she wants to know what to do. And I've got to find out what prescriptions she's taken, because if her prescription is $10,000, she may have to pay for it out of her pocket if Medicare is not going to pick it up. So you want to make sure that you know what you're doing, because you need to remember my famous little saying: with Medicare, it's what you don't know that will hurt you. Not today, but for the rest of your Medicare life.
The rest of the time that you're dealing with Medicare, so the rest of your remaining natural life and everything like that. Just out of curiosity, because I know that I'm not that far from Restaurant Row, and most of the time the restaurants are very safe and they're very wonderful. And all along those lines, there's some great restaurants near me because I live near Duke's campus, Duke University. So they're pretty good restaurants. But we do know that whether it's a university restaurant or whether it's small restaurants or whether it's other kind of restaurants, that sometimes restaurants aren't always the best, and sometimes you can get food poisoning. So I'm guessing that Medicare would not cover those kind of issues if it's something that is beyond their control and everything like that. So I don't know
If you
whether.
got food poisoning from going to a restaurant, would Medicare cover it?
Right.
That's medically necessary.
Gotcha.
That's a medical need. But you have different people that market through different advantage plans and they give you a discount for coming to their restaurant to eat. That's a whole different program.
Right.
Whole different. So, don't get caught up in it, because once you get on Medicare and you need to make a change, now you want to get a Medicare supplement and you have MS and you've got a Medicare Advantage plan that's an HMO and you want to get off of it because you're trying to figure out, you can't go to the doctors that you want to go to. You're in big trouble. You talk to your doctor, you'll have to find what Advantage plan, PPO plan you could get on because you can't answer health questions. The Medicare Advantage plans don't ask you health questions, but they can control your health care. Original Medicare with a Medicare supplement, you do have to answer health questions after a certain period. So when you get on Medicare next year, you'll have a 6-month window that you can get a Medicare supplement without having to answer one health question. And, you can't redo it. It's going to last you forever. I mean, the rules stay. So that's, yeah.
So you can't do that at all. Now, I know a lot of people try to do that in marketing. There's an old trick, and it sounds like that's what Medicare is doing as well. It's called the bait and switch and everything like that. So I know that a lot of con artists will do it and everything like that, but it sounds like some of the people that are doing some of these Medicare sales are trying to entice you with the gym memberships. They're probably trying to entice you with other times the memberships as well. But that sounds to me like it's very much of a medicine
It
man.
is bait and switch.
Right.
It is bait, but it's not Medicare doing it.
Right.
The call centers are all over the world calling
Right.
us. There's 69 million people on Medicare that they can market to.
Right.
There's 10,000 turning 65 every day. The amount of marketing you get is just it's just terrible. So my information is flowing down at the bottom. People can call me at 832-519-8664 to get a question answered, or they can email at info at tonisays.com, tonysays.com.
And I imagine some people are going to want these Medicare advantages, not just for vanity projects like gym membership and stuff like that, but I would not be surprised. And I guess I am, because you said have fun on this show and everything like that. But I imagine that some people are also being enticed to try to get Medicare by getting certain aids and everything like that. So I imagine that Medicare might even be trying to get people by telling them that they can get discounts on, say, Cialis or Viagra and stuff like that, but that's not covered either and everything, because that's probably not something you definitely need.
We haven't talked about the new, they're giving the GLP.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that they've got a $50 program for the GLP that you can get through Medicare, but you better make sure you've got a prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan,
Right.
or that you have the need for that GLP program that started July 1st.
Okay, so it started just this month and everything.
Yeah, it just started. And I really haven't talked a lot about it because I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen.
Right.
If you're someone that wants to get on that, you've got to have a medical need for it.
Right.
They've got all sorts of rules with it. You can go to Medicare.gov or pull up the GLP. But we were supposed to be talking about what's not covered by Medicare. And Medicare covers medically necessary services. If it's not medically necessary, Medicare is not going to cover it.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's not going to cover your gym membership. It's not going to cover if you want Cialis or Viagra. It's not going to cover a number of other things that are out there that are not medically necessary. It's not going to cover the chiropractor and everything like that unless it's medically necessary and everything
Right.
along those lines. So what are some of the other things that it's not going to cover? Because we've already talked about
The
at least
dental
three
is
things.
the big one. Your dental plans are the big ones. So you need to talk to your dentist, find
Mhm.
out what dental plans they're accepting. And when you're coming off your employer benefits, or a lot of people never have had dental. So find out if your dentist accept that, or if you want to change dentists and go to the plans that they have. That's what you have to do.
You said it's not going to cover dental. Will it cover, and it's not going to cover cosmetic surgery and things along those lines? Is it going to cover the ophthalmologist and the eyeglasses? I think we talked about that a little bit, but
It's going to cover going to the eye doctor. It's got to be sometimes it's got to be an ophthalmologist and not an optometrist. You want to make sure that they can bill Medicare. I just got through going to the eye doctor and they billed Medicare for my going and finding out what my new vision is, but my glasses are not covered.
and
So
we have a
I have
regular
to pay
listener that
my
is joining.
do
We have a
what?
regular listener that is joining, and they have comments about the GLP. So that's good to see. But Liberty Twitcher, who is a person that is out there on Twitch, he's actually commented on a number of our shows. But he's saying GLPs are especially important because people are curing their diabetes and their fatty liver disease with GLPs, and he's talking about these words that are probably tirazepatide and
And Zep
Zepbound.
down.
And he says, I know two people personally who have each gotten off of 4 blood pressure meds since they started using GLPs. And then he added, last, GLPs are expensive, but in the long run, they are cheaper overall because of what they improve, cure, and replace medication wise. So he's apparently a big fan of GLP. So
Well,
you have,
GLP is good. But if you want to get in the GLP program, go on to Medicare or go on the website and look for the GLP program that they have, and you pay $50 for that. Was it 8, 9,000, $1,400 for that prescription? But you've got to have your doctor. You've got to go to the doctor and get it medically necessary. You just don't say, I need to have GLP. You've got to have a medical need for it.
that
And
makes a
now you see a lot of advertising online, on TV commercials about all of this, because they know that the GLPs are coming up. But if you don't have a medical need for it, then you have to pay out of your pocket. But with the GLP, you better make sure you have a prescription drug plan, a Medicare Part D plan, or you better make sure that you've also got an Advantage plan that has prescription drugs. This is for someone that's on Medicare.
Yeah. And just really quickly, because I know we're going to wrap up and I've got to get to the other show as well and everything like that. But what is that? A number of our seniors are also beginning or trying to maintain their physical health and everything like that. So I'm imagining that if you become a swimmer or a jogger and you develop either a twisted ankle or you get, what do they call it, swimmer's cramps and stuff like that, that is not necessarily a medical emergency. So that's probably not covered, even though you're just
Yeah,
trying
but
to keep
that's a medical need. So
right.
if you went and fell and twisted your ankle and you got to go to the doctor, that's a medical need. But if you want to have your wrinkles taken care of, or you want to get rid of your, so that you look younger, that is not a medical need. Medicare doesn't pay for it. It's got to have a medical need.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So
Got to have that medical need and everything like that. What are some of the other things that are non medical needs that we haven't covered that people need to be thinking about? I know we've covered chiropractic, we covered dental and vision, we've covered a number of these other ones. But what are some of the other ones that are not medical needs, like that gym membership that people are
your
being?
hearing aids, people that need help need to get hearing aids. I mean, you've got some plans that will cover it that you can get outside of Medicare. Talk to your doctor, find out what they have that can cover it. If you're on original Medicare with a supplement, if you're on an Advantage plan, make sure that's the doctor you want to go to. I mean, some Advantage plans cover hearing aids, some do not. So it all depends. You've got to really take the time to get things done. And Medicare will pay for one pair of glasses or contacts after you had cataract surgery. That's in my article. And the article is going in the newspaper this week. So, people just need to know what's not covered with Medicare. Medicare doesn't cover everything, but the health care is excellent. Okay. So, did I lose you?
You didn't
This
lose
is
me.
Tony King.
I would just get ready to start another show, but they can handle it themselves and everything like that. But yeah, definitely it's a great thing going on and all along those lines. So get ready to start their show, which is about modern investment and everything like that. So yeah, get ready to start their show and all in that space. But I just was fascinated by what is not covered and everything like that. So there's a lot of things that people think are covered that are not covered at all. So that's just
Well,
fascinating.
people think that Medicare will pay for long-term care, all right? And
But
they don't realize that, let's just say they qualified and they got on Medicaid, but they still own a house. And your state is what helps with the long-term care side. So you went in a facility because you were able to qualify financially, but you still own a house. Well, that the state comes back and puts a lien on your house or whatever you own. So, I mean, people need to know. So I've got all those articles on my website. Sounds like you're needing to get going.
hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they're starting their other show, and like I said, they are totally self-sufficient. So once I bring up Jim Eat, they're good to go. Yeah, they're good to
Okay.
go. It's great to be here. So
All
yeah,
right. People don't realize that we had internet issues, so we weren't able to get on at the right time.
yeah, no problem. And those things happen. The things happen with the internet and all along those lines. But it's still a great show. And like I said, it's usually about 30 minutes, and we've hit about 27 and everything like that. And of course, you do have ways that you can be reached and everything like that. So we've got the uh, catch the first step guide, which you have available. And of course, we do want people to sign up for your newsletter because it's an amazing newsletter, and people need to get that newsletter as well.
Well,
And as we were saying, just really quickly, they can contact you at info@tonysays.com, and they can also call you at this particular number. I know the first show I
right.
put down the wrong number, but that's the right number that they
That
can
and
call
that
you.
number is like an 800 number. That's I mean, you just dial it and it rings.
Cool. So
Okay.
sounds like another great show, and I look forward to another conversation tomorrow. But we did learn a lot of things that people think are covered, including those whole bait and switch, because we know those call centers are horrible and they
If
have
you
to.
don't know who's calling you, hang up. And people need to remember with Medicare, what you don't know will hurt you, not for today, but the rest of your life. So go on my website, download the Medicare First Steps, give us a call. I'm TONISAYS.com because I am a girl, 100%. All right.
Exactly. All right. Well, another great show, and I look forward to seeing you again on next Wednesday. I know I still got some other shows that I've got to do, including one about Brandon with Grant McCaw later on this evening at 7 in my own show at 4 o'clock. But it's always great to see you, Tony. You're always giving great insights, and I appreciate you being on and everything like that. I know we were having some internet problems, and hopefully we won't have those next week. But it was another great show, and I'm glad to let you know that the founders of the network, both Nick and Kim, have been watching closely, and they've been learning a lot as well. And I think Kim said she might try to join you as she's done before on next week. I know she had an appointment today, so she couldn't join this week, but she's about to hit the big 6-5 this year and everything like
Right.
that. So she's looking
She's
forward to
gonna she's gonna
learning
be
more about you.
yeah, she's gonna find out all about it. Okay.
Yep. All right.
I will talk to you later. You have a blessed week.
You do the same. Have a
All
great
right.
week and a blessed one as well. And I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
What has time told you about the power of friendship in your life? Hi, I'm Trevi A. McDonald, author of the novel Time Will Tell, a coming of age story about the power of friendship in the lives of three Chicago women who are attending their 10-year high school reunion, and the sequel, Roundabout Midnight, a story about resolving issues, healing hurts, and celebrating Black love. You can find out more about my books at my website, www.drtrevi.com. Thank you.
The only trick you need to save time and money is to shop at Aldi. Aldi. Shop differently. Limitless length plus volume.
Sensational from every angle.
New Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. Only
from Maybelline, New York.
everything that touches your baby should be this comforting. Pampers Swaddlers. The #1 choice of hospitals is 2 times softer. All right, Trivago. Find me a hotel somewhere in Thailand where I can wake up with a view of the ocean. Awesome. The future.
It's impossible to see.
And when it's finally here, it might not be what you'd expect. It might just be better. Introducing Luxury Electric. Introducing Lucid Air. We're for those who love to discover, who don't need to travel to find something new, and who know when you spend less, you can discover even more at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Smooth, velvety chocolate wrapped in precious gold. Ferrero Rocher.